Jared Cannonier got the brakes beat off of him and then come back and beat RoboCop. I mean, goodness, man. What a performance from Jared Cannonier. He managed to knock out RoboCop in round 4 of their main event at UFC Vegas 102, whatever event number we are on. But Jared Cannonier, who got floored for the first round, like just ran through completely for the first round, we saw him get a fantastic comeback against Gregory Rodrigues, who was supposed to dominate him. Let's be real. This was a fight that was given to Gregory Rodrigues like, hey, look, this guy's ranked number 7 on a 2-fight losing streak. He's lost to Cal Barallo and Nasruddin Imavov before that. So if you can come out there and beat him, you'll be the next guy, right? You'll be top 10. Gregory Rodrigues, first of all, I have no idea how he made 185. Okay, let's think about this for a second. Jared Cannonier is a former heavyweight. He's done a lot of work. Now, granted, he was a chubby heavyweight, to say the least, but he worked hard to get down to 185. And he's usually one of the bigger 185ers you see. And then you look at Gregory Rodrigues, you look at RoboCop, and you're like, this dude's taller and he's bigger. How is he making 185 pounds? And let's be real, he probably shouldn't be a middleweight after what we saw at UFC Vegas 102. Shouldn't be a thing. But here we are today, and he is a welterweight, and he just lost to Canonier. So if you missed it, or if you, I don't know why you would have not watched, we're all degenerates around here, but if you did miss it, Jared Cannonier knocked him out in the 4th round after getting knocked down 2 or 3 times in the 1st round. It looked like Gregory Rodrigues was on his way to a victory. And timeout, pause. I want to pause here to brag for a second. Check this out right there. I finished number 1 globally on Verdict. Go add me on Verdict, Blaine Henry TFL. Be friends, and we can. I'll add you to my league or whatever. Just let me know what you want. Number 1 in the world on Verdict. I'm the king, baby. The highest I've ever been before is number 3. So this was like, I told my wife going into this last fight, I was like, hey, look, if Canonier wins, I'm number 1 in the world in this picking app. She knows what it's called, right? So I'm number 1 on Verdict. And I got it. I was just like, yes. And Canonier knocked him out in round 4, just like I predicted. I was like, yes, yes. Yeah, I felt like the restaurant already. Yes. I don't know what the guy's name is. But yeah, big comeback from Jared Cannonier. And he really kind of just showed that he was tougher than Gregory Rodrigues. So, read a book, you heathens. Foxcatcher by Mark Schultz. Fantastic read. If you don't know, around here we read books, and this one, that's a really, really, really good book. I pulled an excerpt from this book, and it kind of plays into what we're dealing with here. He said, he's talking about his NCAA finals. Ed's lead was 5-2 late in the first period when I tried a move I had never attempted but had watched Ben Peterson, an Olympic champion, pull off in a World Cup. I held Ed on his back for 2 seconds and scored 4 points to lead 6-5 after the first period. Now, Schultz goes on to say, and this is kind of what we're talking about here with Jared Cannonier, I never hated any of my opponents, but because of my low VO2 max, I had to generate anger within me and then channel that anger on the mat. At times it felt like I was going to create magic during every match to win. And kind of what I'm getting at here is the fact that, you know, Schultz was down in that NCAA finals match, and he had to find a way to win. He wasn't supposed to win, right? Canonier is not supposed to beat Gregory Rodrigues, so he has to dig down deep and find a way to win. And he did that. He dug deep. And he didn't even really have to, you know, grind out and say, all right, let's recover here. Let's do this and that. It's partially Gregory Rodrigues' fault. Let's be real. Like, Rodrigues gassed hard. He gassed incredibly hard. Messy hair today, boys. But yeah. And Canonier just stayed calm. Stayed cool and collected, and he just started to work on him. And in that second round, we kind of saw, like, Canonier sort of taking over, and you're like, okay, Canonier, what we got here, baby, what we got here? And as soon as he started to take over, and he started to land his harder shots, I knew from, like, round 3, I was like, oh, this fight's over. Gregory Rodrigues is done. He's exhausted. And like, you have Felder and Brendan Fitzgerald and Daniel Cormier. Is like, there's no way Gregory Rodrigues is tired already after the first round. This was in the second round. I'm thinking to myself, like, y'all have never watched him fight before, because the dude gasses. He gets tired every single fight. Canonier, I wish he would have hit the body more. He did a good job kicking the leg early. He kind of abandoned that early on, and I get it. Gregory Rodrigues was looking for that, and he was looking for the 1-2 off that. We're going to talk about Rodrigues in a second. But Canonier decided, oh, this isn't going to work for me, so what I'm going to do is fix this issue. I'm not going to kick him anymore. Instead, we're going to look and make him exit at an angle and catch him with looping shots as he exits. Or I'm going to move laterally and catch him with looping shots. We'll talk about lateral movement later with Youssef Zalal. Youssef, I'm mad at you. I love you to death, but I just want to punch you in the head after that fight. Yeah, so great win for Canonier. I could see them making a rematch with Sean Strickland, but that risked putting 40-year-old washed Jared Cannonier ranked number 2 or 3, whatever he would be after that. He'd be top 5, and it's like, yeah, no, we can't do that because Cal Barallo has to be above you, and Nasruddin Imavov obviously is number 1 now. You don't deserve it over Khamzat Chimaev. There's other options out there like Roman Kopylov. You can make that, or the Paulo Costa fight if you want him to fight down. Those are 2 really fun fights. Now, RoboCop, is the hype busted? Is he done with Dunzo? What was his problem and why? Like, you don't think like, oh man, RoboCop looked terrible that fight. Like, he did, and he's looked bad in the past, and I hinted at it at the top, and I'm thinking to myself, like, maybe he's cutting too much weight. Like, we might be better off with a 205 Gregory Rodrigues. The dude's massive. Actually, come with me, guys. Let's go over to the web. Let's take a look at Gregory Rodrigues. I don't even know his height. Gregory Rodrigues, 16'6". Look at this. How tall is he? 6'3". Let's put this into comparison here. Let's pull up some other light heavyweights. Poatan, there he is. How tall is the champ? 6'4". Okay, so Alex is a little tall. 6'2", 6'3" though. I mean, he's not, far off. Now, where is best light? What are we doing? Why do we got ads? Probably not logged in. They got Ankalaev ranked number 1. What? How tall is Ankalaev? Ankalaev is 6'3", same height. And let's do Yuri Prohaska just for posterity's sake, 6'3" as well. So you've got Gregory Rodrigues, and he's really a massive fighter. I think he's just cutting too much weight. Honestly, fellas, I think he's just way too big for 185, and I think he needs to decide, I need to move up. I get too tired, and A, I think he punches way too hard and he doesn't pace himself very well, but B, I also think he's cutting way too much weight, and that will ruin you as a fighter. Like, that will, not only it'll take years off, but you also lose matches you shouldn't have. You lose fights you shouldn't have lost. So it's like, guys, let's do it right here. Let's actually cut weight the right way. Let's get down to 205 instead of 185. That extra 15 pounds, that's a lot of weight. I like Gregory Rodrigues too, guys. They said in the lead up to this, they said, he spent a lot of time with Israel Adesanya and Nasruddin Imavov, 2 of Jared Cannonier's former opponents. And you could tell he picked up well because he was really heavy on the 1-2. Boom, boom. Remember, that's what Israel Adesanya worked him with, and that's how Nasruddin Imavov knocked him out. It's also how Nasruddin Imavov knocks out Israel Adesanya. Nasruddin Imavov has a great 1-2. So he picked that up from those guys. And I need to see, him. He's got good game planning. He just gasses too much. Move north, please. Go up. 185 is not for you, Gregory Rodrigues. It's just not. You don't cut it there. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not going to cut it there. And he's got some good wins at 185, but it's nothing spectacular. So, I just hope both guys have fun. No, not really. I really want to see Gregory Rodrigues succeed, but at 16-6, we're starting to ask ourselves, what's his ceiling? And if you move up north, you stop cutting as much weight. You can extend that, but especially with the state of 205. Like, light heavyweight's not a good division right now. Super top heavy. You obviously you got Alex Pereira and you've got Magomed and Kalaev there, but that's about it. Prohaska doesn't have anything for him. Khalil Roundtree doesn't. Jamal Hill, no. Like, what else is there? RoboCop can give some fresh stuff to that division. I really like, guys. I am really not in on him being at 185 anymore. He's just way bigger than the former heavyweight Jared Cannonier, and it was too much. Now, you'll know that Youssef Zalal is my boy. I've done a film study on him, and you can definitely check that out. But I thought Youssef Zalal, I think very highly of Youssef Zalal. And he fought the co-main event of UFC Vegas 102 against Calvin Kattar. Like, what a fight, right? What a fight. Fantastic performance. Opportunity for Youssef Zalal, who's already fought like Ilia Topuria and stuff. So this is your chance to break into the rankings, maybe even the top 10. Fight an established veteran who has tape with like Max Holloway and all of the other elites of the division, and you could show yourself to be great. And the first 2 rounds, don't get me wrong, Youssef Zalal looked fantastic. But that 3rd round really got under my skin. And I get he needs to win the fight. I get that. But what I don't like about it was the fact that he's just skipping around the cage. Just skip. La-di-da. Like, what? Why? You're obviously better than Calvin Kattar, who was gun shy, first of all. But you moving around the cage, like, it left a bad taste in my mouth, Youssef Zalal. And like I said, I think you're one of the better fighters and should have never been cut. But you being cut is the best thing that happened to you because that made you a better fighter. You got in the gym and you worked harder. We can all see it. We can see it. But that 3rd round was dreadful. I know you had to win the fight and Kattar was coming out hard. So I'm not going to fault you for it, for sure. Like, I'm not, like, that's not fair to you. You went and won the fight. And you did some great things in rounds 1 and 2. Like, your jab was magnificent. And Calvin Kattar's a boxer. And you just jabbed him up all night. You moved laterally. He's got out the way. He did a lot of good things. But, like, the 3rd round just ruined it for me. I think he did a good job threatening the takedowns and stuff too. That was really cool. I really think his wrestling's come a long way. Think about it, like Youssef Zalal, Moroccan guy, kickboxer, right? You think Badahari, all that, yada yada. The wrestling of Youssef Zalal is not bad. He managed to get Calvin Kattar down, and Kattar's not easy to get down at all. I mean, granted, Kattar popped right back up, but even like the threat of the takedown, that addition to your game is like, it just changes night and day for strikers, especially like he got 4 submission wins in a row, like starting to get people to think like, hey, maybe I need to be a little bit more careful here because Youssef Zalal's dangerous on top of you too. He's not going to knock you out. He's going to choke me out. Like, where's this kid not good at, right? So, he did a lot of good things. I did think that we could see some improvement from Youssef Zalal, like that 3rd round. I get the whole, Calvin Kattar's hard to knock out, so I'm not going to hold not finishing Calvin Kattar against him. There's some other fighters, like, he wants to fight Brian Ortega, and that's another one where it's like, you're going to have to go 5 rounds for that one, cuz, and it's going to be hard because if Ortega gets to you, like, it could be over. We saw him choke people out. But then again, like, we know Brian Ortega's A, washed, and B, can't take anybody down for love nor money. And he did. Now, granted, Brian Ortega did work on that and showed improvement in his last fight. So maybe not. Maybe it isn't intriguing. Let's take a look at the web real quick. I want to see what the rankings are because we're gonna see a ranked a ranked Youssef Zalal here soon. Let's see here. So at featherweight, Ortega's ranked 6. Calvin Kattar's ranked 10. You'll see Zalal probably right behind Lerone Murphy, above Giga probably. Yeah, I can see the Ortega fight. You know, Brian Ortega hasn't really won an important fight in forever, except like the Rodriguez fight. But yeah, it left a lot to be desired for Youssef Zalal, but I'm still optimistic about him. I still think he's got really good promise, and I think he can, have a better performance than what he did. Going 5 rounds, you're not gonna be able to coast that 3rd, 4th, and 5th round. That's how you lose the fight. So, let's improve a little bit there. Now, Edmen Shahbazyan, he had a really slick knockout, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So what? He fought Dylan Budka, and I don't know who that is. Everybody was talking about, oh, he's an NCAA wrestler. And MMA Guru, he talked about it, and it was really kind of apparent that he wasn't big on it. And I get it, and I'm with him. Budka, Dylan Budka's not that great of a wrestler. He probably hasn't been fighting that long, and Shahbazyan just put him away in the 1st round, like everybody expected to happen. That said, how he did it was kind of cool. So, Budka, he knew he had to come forward, and Shahbazyan's like, okay, I'll give ground, and he starts moving back laterally, and it's like, okay, that's not really what you want to do. You kind of want to exit off at an angle. That said, if you're going to go laterally and you want them to kind of come at you, step back, plant off that back foot, and punch off the back foot, kind of like a Superman put, but not really. But you just planting as you're going backwards, and as that back foot hits, come with the cross, right? And we saw that with Stipe Miocic in the first Francis Ngannou fight. He hurt him. Ignacio Bahamondes, who just got announced he's fighting Jalen Turner. That's a battle of the lanky boys, if I didn't know it, right? He did it in his last fight. It's a really good technique to have an opponent that really wants to beat on you. And in the clear, Anderson Silva did it all the time, too. You just plant off the back foot and stuff. But, what are we doing with Edmen Shahbazyan? Because, Edmen Shahbazyan, he's 14-5. We know what his problem is. 27 years old. He had lost to Gerald Meerschaert in the 2nd round after beating up Gerald Meerschaert, beat A.J. Dobson. Fluffy just railroaded him. Imavov beat him. There's really nowhere to go for Edmen Shahbazyan. He's good, but he's not elite, and that really kind of sucks because, man, as a striker, he's great. He would have been much better as a kickboxer, purely. But he has to worry about wrestling now. So, Shahbazyan, I'm keen on him. I enjoy watching him fight for what he is, but I know, we all know, Edmen Shahbazyan is never going to be at the top of the heap. Let's see. There's Shahbazyan right here. Dylan Budka, whatever. I need to sign in. Oh, I am signed in. Jeez, what else happened on this card, guys? Nazim Sadikov defeated Ishmael Bonfim, and that's the one that got me all that experience on Verdict. The dude's 10-1-1. He's from Azerbaijan. Now, I expect him to have an accent. The dude's obviously from America or lives in America. Really cool Taekwondo type kick. I forget what it's called, but he pivots at the knee and catches Ishmael Bonfim right across the nose and puts him down. Andre Petrosky beat Rodolfo Vieira. Jose Delgado had a really cool knockout of Connor Matthews. Oh, look at that. Angela Hill split decision over Ketlin Souza. I'm not surprised at all because look at this, guys. Split decision. All right. Unanimous loss. Ricci beat Luana. Decision. Split. Decision. Split. Decision. Whoa, is that the first split decision she's won? Look, another split versus Courtney Casey. Another one versus Souza. Wait. Oh, that's Ketlin Souza we fought. I'm sorry. Let's see. Any more split decisions? Jesus. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Telemos. And that's her 6th split decision win. So, congratulations, Angela Hill. Guys, I'm not the biggest fan. Rafael Esteban beat Jesus Aguilar. Aguilar's not very good. Gabriel Bonfim, the other Bonfim brother, won. Beat Chaos Williams, which is a big win for him. Darce choke. Elijah Smith beat my boy Vince Morales. Really hurts my feelings. Walter Walker, the brother of Johnny Walker, beat Dontel Mays via heel hook, which was weird. And then Jacqueline Calavanti beat Julia Avelia. And, whatever, right? But overall, you know, decent night of fights. Youssef Zalal's tape study, he's in that playlist if you want to check it out. But what I really want you to do is go check out Fight Finders. Episode 6 drops this week. It was supposed to be Tuesday. Got pushed back a little bit with scheduling, so it'll be probably Thursday or Friday before that drops. But it is dropping this week. LSU Wrestling. So go catch up on Fight Finders. Episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 available now. Karate Combat Sonda, Bare Knuckle, and then Bare Knuckle MMA. Catch it. It's good.